Morning to you all. Let us continue with the digestive system. Last class we were discussing about the four different types of teeth, and why human teeth is said to be heterodont or didaphont, because there are two sets of teeth, and that is temporary and permanent, and there are four types of teeth. That's why they are referred as heterodont. Now let's see the diagram here, given here. This is the diagram of a tooth, that is canine, and this is the premolar or molar. As you can see that the tooth is differentiated into three parts, that is crown, neck, which is not visible here, and the root. Clear? The uppermost part, the crown, is covered by ivory colored substance called as enamel. It is the hardest substance. After that, we have the neck, that forms a constriction between the crown and the root. Clear? Just below the enamel, we have the dentine, which is the bulk of the tooth. Got it? That means this dentine is covered with enamel. Now, this dentine, as you can see in the diagram, has several minute canals through which the strands of cytoplasm run. And this middle part is the pulp cavity, which are richly supplied with blood capillaries, lymph capillaries, and that is the lymph vessels and nerve fibers. Clear? Now, when we talk about, as you can see in this diagram, there is a structure called as cement that fixes the root in position. The visible part is only up till here, that is the dentine part. Clear? And the gum, which is visible, that is the root part. They are embedded in the jawbone. Clear? And you have that is the canine, which has got only one process, whereas the premolar or the molar, they have got two fangs or two processes. Clear? Now let us start with the digestive system, actual part of the digestive system. Clear? Let me show you the diagram here, then it will be more clear. Now, when we talk about digestion, clear? First of all, the digestion starts in the mouth. This is the diagram of the digestion. Now, what happens before, like I said, the digestion in the mouth or the buccal cavity. Got it? Now, what do we find? Let me tell you. The mouth, it has got, or the buccal cavity has got the tongue, the teeth. Got it? Function of tongue and teeth I have already told you. Now, what do we find? That is the digestion in the mouth is referred as mechanical digestion, and the other is chemical digestion. When we talk about mechanical digestion, what does it mean? It means that the food, when it is put into the mouth, it is cut or beaten in, cut into small pieces, teared, and then crushed and grinded. Clear? So that is mechanical digestion. The tongue helps in mixing the food. Clear? Now, when we talk about the chemical digestion, suppose you are asked mastication. What do you mean by mechanical digestion or mastication? It means the breaking down of the food into small pieces or bits with the help of the teeth, which are then crushed. The food is then crushed and grinded so that it turns into a semi-solid paste. Now come to the chemical digestion. What happens? There is salivary gland present in the mouth. There are three pairs of salivary glands, as you can see in the diagram. Just focus it here. So what do you find? The salivary glands, there are three types. Those are parotid, submandibular, and sublingual. Got it? All three together are called as salivary gland. They secrete the digestive juice called as saliva. Got it? What is the function of saliva? It has a pH 6.8 and it helps in lubrication of the food. Got it? And turns into a semi-solid paste which is referred as bolus. Clear? After that, it is followed by swallowing or deglutition. When the food in the form of bolus is swallowed, what happens? The larynx, that is the opening of the windpipe, got it, is covered by a flap-like structure called as epiglottis. Got it? Now what happens? After the swallowing of the food, that is bolus, the food enters the next phase of the digestion, that is it passes through the esophagus or the windpipe. Here what happens? The food is pushed along the food pipe by the process called as peristalsis. What is peristalsis? It is the wave of constriction and relaxation so that the food is pushed along the food pipe. Let me show you the diagram here. See here, it is the bolus. What happens? The food, the circular muscles of the esophagus, they undergo alternate contraction and relaxation, pushing the bolus along the food pipe till it reaches the stomach. Clear? Now what happens? We were talking about the saliva. Now saliva, it contains the enzyme salivary amylase or ptyalin. It breaks down the carbohydrate, that is in the form of starch, into its simpler component disaccharide or maltose. Other function of saliva beside digestion of starch, that means it has one more enzyme called as lysozyme that kills the bacteria that might be present in the food. Clear? And as I said earlier, it helps prevents tooth decay and helps in the lubrication. After the food from the esophagus reaches a J-shaped structure called as stomach. Clear? Now this stomach, as I said, it is a J-shaped structure, and the opening of the esophagus into the stomach is there is a circular ring of muscles called as cardiac sphincter, and here where the stomach opens into the intestine, that is also guarded by a ring of muscles called as pyloric sphincter. And the opening of the stomach into the intestine, that is the small intestine or the duodenum part, that is called as pylorus. Now the food in the stomach stays there for about 4 to 5 hours. In the mouth, digestion of carbohydrate takes place, and in the stomach, digestion of the protein part of the food takes place. How does it is facilitated? By the gastric juice, which contains the enzyme pepsin and renin, which are in inactive form. Let me show you here. See, the digestive juice contains the gastric juice secreted from the gastric gland, and they contain the and also they secrete the gastric gland concentrated HCl. Got it? What is the function of HCl? It makes the medium acidic and it converts inactive pepsinogen into active pepsin and prorenin into renin. Now what happens in the first case? Now what happens in the presence of concentrated HCl? As you know, it makes the medium acidic. Pepsinogen, which is present in inactive form, in the presence of concentrated HCl forms active pepsin. Got it? This pepsin, active pepsin, will break down proteins into proteases and peptones. Clear? Further digestion will take place in the intestine. Now prorenin, this is again present in inactive form. These are usually prevalent in infants. In adult, it is not found. Got it? So prorenin in the presence of concentrated HCl forms renin, which is active form, and then they convert milk protein into para-casein. Got it? That is called, that is referred as curdling of milk. Clear? So this is the up till here digestion of stomach and digestion of digestion of proteins and digestion of carbohydrate in the mouth and in the stomach. So these are some of the points that you should remember. How you may be asked like such: how does digestion takes place in the mouth? How digestion takes place in the stomach? Just remember the points. Like I said, salivary amylase, other name ptyalin, maltose. Got it? Starch is broken down into maltose. Starch is polysaccharide. Maltose is disaccharide. Medium is alkaline, that is slightly alkaline, that is 6.8. Then you have the functions of the salivary amylase or ptyalin. What is its function? Now, digestion in the stomach. You have the enzymes present that you have to remember. Prorenin and renin. See, you have the gastric juice, then pepsinogen, active pepsin, breaks down proteins into proteases and peptones. Then you have prorenin, active renin in the presence of concentrated HCl. It converts milk protein into para-casein or curdling. So that's all. Stay home, be safe, and if you have any doubt, children, go through the diagrams. These diagrams are very important, whichever I have said, and those questions like pyloric spinster, pylorus, peristalsis, and then you have the function of saliva, function of concentrated HCl, and so on.